So today in this session, we will start with the next topic, that is what fluid statics. So this is our session number 3 on fluid mechanics subject. So we will start with our next topic, that is what the fluid statics. So yes, I think the screen is visible to all. Is it so?
Yes, so visible.
Yes. So fluid statics. So obviously, so in last topic, what we have seen, that is what the properties of the fluid we have already learned. So now we will go for the next part of this subject, that is fluid statics. So that means what, when fluid is in the rest condition. So obviously statics means what, the fluid is in the rest condition. So whenever fluid is in rest condition, so what is the behavior of the fluid? So that we have to learn in this topic, that is what the fluid statics. Obviously, again, we know that when fluid is in static condition, so whenever fluid is in the container, so obviously it is in the rest condition, and that is nothing but what, the fluid statics. So remember that in this topic we have to study about what, the behavior of the fluid when it is in the rest condition, and when it is in the rest condition, so obviously when it is in the container. So that behavior we want to learn here. So whenever fluid is in the container, so always it acts pressure on the wall of that container. So we have to focus on that pressure parameter. So how much is the pressure acting on the wall? In which direction the pressure is acting? So on these things we have to learn in fluid statics. The first and the important thing is what, uh, how the pressure variation is taking place in case of static fluids. So pressure, what kind of pressure variation is there? So that we have to learn here in the first. So here we will start with what, pressure variation in a fluid. Yes. So pressure variation in a fluid. Pressure variation in a fluid. So to understand pressure variation in a fluid, so how the pressure is varying, in which direction pressure variation is taking place, so that we want to understand here. So to understand the pressure variation, we will consider, we will consider the element of the fluid itself from the static fluid. So we are considering, so this shape of a fluid from the static fluid, and now we will try to understand how the pressure is going to vary. So that we will try to understand. Correct. So here, so this is the shape of, this is obviously, this is the part of the static fluid. Remember that. This is the part of the static fluid I have taken from the static fluid for the study purpose. Correct. Now I want to study on this one. So when I take this portion of the static fluid, correct. Now we will try to understand the pressure acting, or the pressure or the pressure forces acting on the different surfaces of this part, correct, or this element. So yes. So what I'm going to consider here, at the center, suppose at the center, P is the pressure acting. So that means what, actually, if I consider a surface at the surface at the center of this component, correct. So whatever the pressure acting on this surface, so suppose that pressure is P. So let us assume that P is the pressure acting on this surface at the center. So that is our assumption actually. Correct? Yes. And obviously, so weight is acting in the downward direction. So always whenever we want to find out the weight, we will go with what? The weight density, correct? So what I can do here, suppose this is the parallelepiped element, which size is what? This is delta x. This is suppose delta y, and this is just a minute. So I will put it as what? Delta z, and I will take it as what? Delta y. Correct. So vertical direction I have taken as what? Y. So this is the z direction, this is the x direction. So this is the delta x, this is the delta y, delta z, and this is delta y. So these are what the dimension of this parallelepiped element. Correct. So now I want to find out how much is the weight is acting in the downward direction. Suppose small w is the weight density. Correct. Small w is the weight density of this fluid. This is fluid actually. Correct. So I have taken this parallelepiped shaped element from the static fluid. So this is what? This is the fluid only that is in the static condition or in the rest condition. So if W is the weight density, if suppose W is the weight density, so what about weight? So weight will be what? Weight density into volume, because weight density is nothing but what? Weight per unit volume into volume. So volume get cancelled. So we will get what? Weight of this particular element. So we know that volume is how much? Delta x, delta y, delta z. So delta x into delta y into delta z is nothing but what? Volume of that component or that element. And weight density. Weight density is already defined for the particular fluid. Correct. So we know the weight density, just multiplied by the volume, we will get what? Weight of this fluid. So just I can write down here, that is what? This is what? Weight of the fluid, capital W, equals to weight density into delta x, delta y, and delta z. So that is the weight of the body which is acting in downward direction. Next is what? Now I will try to find out how much is the force acting on this left surface. Correct. So here some pressure is acting. So what we can do here, the pressure is acting is what? P plus dou P by dou X into delta X by 2. So this much amount of pressure is acting on the surface. So what we have considered here, P is the pressure acting on the central surface. Now we are assuming that for a small distance dou X, dou P is the change in the pressure. Either that is addition or subtraction. I have considered addition. No problem. Whatever you want, you can take. Correct. So P plus dou P by dou X. So dou X is for dou X distance, very small distance dou X. Dou P is the change in P. So therefore, I have written like this one. But what we want the change in this pressure P for a distance. I want to find out the pressure on this left surface, correct? So we want to find out the pressure at a distance delta x by 2. Getting my point? Correct. So P is the pressure on the center surface. I want the pressure acting on this left surface of this element. And that is what? That is at a distance delta x by 2. So I can write down here, if dou P, for a dou x distance, there is a change in pressure of dou P. That is the assumption. We'll start from this point. From this point, suppose this is very small distance dou x. Dou represents very small actually. So for a small distance, there is a small change in pressure dou P in a P. So P plus dou P by dou x. So at this point, pressure is what? P plus dou P by dou x. But what I want pressure on the left surface of this element. So what will be the pressure with reference to this central surface pressure? So what will the pressure at a distance delta x by 2? Correct. When we solve this one, so we will get this equation, that is what? So dou p by dou x into delta x by 2. So this much amount of change in pressure taking place in P. So therefore I have written here P plus dou p by dou x into delta x by 2. So that is the amount of pressure change in the change in the pressure P when we move from this point to this. Correct? Yes. Similarly, I can write down here, that is what? P plus dou p by dou x into delta x by 2. So I have written here plus. Correct? Yes. So this is for what? These are the pressure forces acting at what, or the pressure acting at what? Acting in along the x direction. Now we want to find out the pressures acting along the z direction. So if you want to find out the pressure acting on this bottom surface, so here that is what? P minus dou p by dou y. Now it is in the y direction, so we need to take dou y into delta y by 2. And here we will take P plus dou p by dou y into delta y by 2. Similarly, you can write down the pressure acting along the z direction on this front surface and on the back surface, and along the y direction the pressure acting on the top surface and the bottom surface. Remember that we have taken this element from the static fluid. So that means what? It is in equilibrium condition. Getting my point? We have taken it from the static fluid. So it is in the rest condition. Correct? Yes. So since it is in the rest condition, so we can apply the equilibrium condition for these pressures. Correct? So static equilibrium condition, we know the static equilibrium conditions. That is what? Summation of f of x equals to 0, summation of f of y equals to 0, and summation of f of z equals to 0. So that is what the static equilibrium condition. Since this is in the static condition, we have taken this element from the static fluid. So therefore, we can apply the static equilibrium condition. Summation of f of x equals to 0, summation of f of y equals to 0, and summation of f of z equals to 0. So first, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to apply the first equilibrium condition, that is what? Summation of f of x equals to 0. Correct? So this is, the direction is in the right direction. So actually two forces are acting along the x direction. So this is the first force and this is the second force, you can see here. Correct? So this one. So we have to take the summation of these forces which are acting along the x direction. So I will take the summation. So we need to take it as what? As per the sign convention, this one is positive and this one is negative. Correct? So I will take the summation. So P plus dou P by dou x into delta x by 2. Correct? So this is what? The pressure. But what I want? Summation of all forces acting along the x direction. Correct? So we need to take the pressure. Sorry, we want to take what? Force here, but this is pressure. So how we can take the force? So we have to multiply it by what? Area. So when we multiply this pressure by area, we will get what? The force acting in this direction. So what will be the area of this surface on the left side? So we know that this is what? This is the delta z, and this will be what? Delta y. So I can write down here delta y into delta z. So now this is the pressure force minus this is acting in the negative direction, minus, here I can write down P plus dou P by dou X into delta X by 2, correct? Yes, into area. Area is what? Delta Y, delta Z equals to 0. So this 0 I have taken here, correct? So this is what? This is the summation of all forces acting along x direction equals to 0, correct? So here P delta Y delta Z plus dou P by dou X into delta X by 2, correct? Into delta Y delta Z minus this P into delta Y delta Z minus dou P by dou X into delta X by 2 delta Y delta Z equals to 0. Correct? Yes. So this one and this one get cancelled. Oh, sorry. This one is what? Just a minute. Sorry. So this is the minus sign is here. Correct? So here the minus sign is. So here you will get what? The positive sign. So what happened here? So 2 P by dou X into delta X by 2 delta Y delta Z equals to 0. Correct? So this one get cancelled, and we will get this equation, that is what? Dou P by dou X into delta X by, sorry, delta X, delta Y and delta Z equals to 0. But the thing is that delta X, delta Y, delta Z. So these are very small distances. So when we consider these distances, the multiplication of distances will not be 0. Correct? So actually, when we see this equation, these two terms are there. You can observe these two terms: multiplication of three distances or dimensions and dou p by 2x. So obviously, delta x into delta y delta z is not equals to 0. Correct? Multiplication of distances, obviously it may be near to 0, but it not equals to 0. If distances, when this term becomes 0, either delta x, delta y, delta z, the multiplication of these three terms becomes 0, when either the delta x should be 0, or delta y or delta z should be 0. If out of these three terms one term is 0, in that case only the multiplication of these three terms will be 0, but there is no possibility of the distance is 0. Correct. So therefore, delta x into delta y into delta z is not equals to 0. The meaning of this one is what? Obviously, dou p by dou x is equals to 0. Correct? Yes. I will take another. Yes. Is the screen is visible? New paint is visible to all?
No, sir.
Okay. Just. Yes, now I think this one is visible to me. Okay. So in last equation, that is what here I'm going to write down. That is what dou p by dou x into delta x, delta y, and delta z equals to 0. So this multiplication of these three terms is not equals to 0. So therefore, dou p by dou x is 0. So the meaning of this one is what? There is no change in pressure along the x direction. Correct? No change in pressure along x direction. Correct? And similarly, if we take, that is what, summation of f of z equals to 0, so you will find dou p by dou z equals to 0. So that means what? Again, there is no change in pressure along the z direction. So these conclusions are very important for us. Remember that. There is no change in pressure along z direction. Correct? Yes. So the third direction is what? That is what? Summation of f of y equals to 0. So in that case, you will find when you will solve this one, or when we will take the summation of f of y. So as we know that actually here along the y direction there are three forces acting. That is what? On the bottom surface, on the top surface, and the weight density. Correct. When we take summation of all these three forces, just like we have taken for summation of f of x equals to 0, when we take summation of all these forces along the y direction, so we will get one equation, and that equation will be what? That is dou p by dou y equals to minus w. So this w is what? Weight density. So now the meaning of this one is what? There is a change in the pressure along the y direction. And here remember that y direction is what? Vertical direction. So this is the y direction, remember that. So along the vertical direction, always there is a change in the pressure in static fluids. And why this change in pressure is taking place in static fluid? That is what? That is due to weight density. So due to weight density only, there is a change in pressure is taking place along the y direction. Getting my point? And what is the meaning of a minus sign? What it indicates, minus sign? Yes. What it indicates, minus sign?
The direction.
The direction. Again, which direction? What it indicates? Which direction, or what exactly the meaning of minus sign here? Obviously, there is a change in pressure is taking place due to weight density, weight of the fluid particles. Correct? So when we consider the fluid in the container, when it is in the container, suppose these are the fluid particles, correct? So each fluid particle has what? Some weight. And due to its weight density, when we move in the downward direction, the pressure is increasing. So when I want to find out pressure on this surface, third surface, so due to the weight density of these two layers, more pressure will be acting on this third surface than what the second and the first. Correct. Why it so happened? Due to what? the weight density of the fluid particles. Correct? Yes. So what the minus sign indicates? What it indicates? Yes, anyone please?
Decrease in weight density.
Decrease in weight density. Okay, again. So the negative sign indicates what? From the datum, as the distance increases. Remember that we are taking y direction. Correct. So always y direction. If I want to measure the distance along the y direction, so we have to start from this one. So slowly it increases. Distance increases from the bottom. So as the distance increases from the bottom, pressure, what happens? Whether the pressure will increase or decreases. As we move from the bottom to top, when we move from bottom to top, distance increases, but what about the pressure?
Decreases.
Decreases. Correct. So here distance increases. Correct. Distance along y direction increases, pressure decreases. Correct. So therefore, so that means what the negative sign indicates here, when distance increases, that is from top, bottom to top, pressure decreases. So that is the meaning of what? Minus sign. Correct? Yes. So this is what? This is the pressure variation. So remember that there is no change in pressure along the x direction. There is no change in pressure along the z direction. Only change in pressure is taking place along the y direction, and that is due to only what? Weight density. Correct? Yes. One more thing. Suppose I want to find out the pressure at a point. Suppose I want to find out the pressure at this point. And now I'm going to take the distance from the free surface of the liquid. Here, the meaning of y is what? We are measuring the distance from bottom to the top. Correct. At the bottom, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So like that, we are measuring the distance. But if suppose now I want to measure the distance from the free surface of the liquid, and suppose now I want to measure pressure at this point, at the distance small h from the free surface, then the pressure at that point will be what? Rho g. So rho g is what? Weight density into h. Correct. Now remember that this h distance we have measured from what? Free surface of the liquid. Don't go from the bottom side. Correct. In this equation, so P equals to rho GH. So the pressure at any point we can measure by using what? Rho G, that is weight density, that is rho mass density into acceleration due to gravity, that is the weight density, into h. H is what? The distance of this point at which we want to measure the pressure from the free surface of the liquid. So P equals to rho gh. So we can measure the pressure at any point by using this equation, that is what? P equals to rho gh. Correct. So in this, just you need to remember that there is no change in pressure along the x direction. There is no change in pressure along the z direction. Only change in pressure is taking place along the y direction. That is what? Y direction is what? Vertical direction. Just remember that. Correct. And why there is a change in pressure is taking place along the y direction? That is what? Weight density of the fluid particles. Correct. So as we move in the downward direction, initially here the pressure is what? On this top surface, the pressure will be atmospheric pressure. As we move in the downward direction, the pressure slowly increases, and at the bottom you will get what? The maximum pressure. Correct. You can see here, as h increases, you will get the maximum pressure. If you want to show the pressure variation along the y direction for this particular situation, so So here, what I'm going to do here, just a minute, I will draw one vertical line here. Here, the pressure will be what? Atmospheric pressure. Again, as we move in the downward direction, the pressure starts to increases. And at the bottom, you will get the maximum pressure. So that kind of pressure variation will be there. So here at the free surface, atmospheric pressure will be there. Correct? If it is open to atmosphere, correct? And slowly it increases, and at the bottom surface you will get what? P maximum. So this is the pressure variation along the y direction. Correct. Obviously, there is no change in pressure along the x direction. There is no change in pressure along the z direction. Okay, so this is all about what? The pressure variation in a static fluid. When fluid is in static condition, how the pressure is going to vary. So obviously the pressure variation is taking place along the y direction. There is no change in pressure along the x direction and z direction. And this kind of variation is taking place along the y direction. Correct? Also, we can measure pressure at a point, and that is nothing but what? P equals to rho g h. And remember that h is the distance from the free surface to the point at which we want to measure the pressure. Okay, yes. So we will move to next point. So that is what? Yes. So next, in fluid statics, the first and important thing is what? Pressure variation in the fluid, and the second and most important thing in fluid static is what? Pascal's law. Once you understand the Pascal's law, next we will go for what? The pressure measurement, and from the gate point of view, pressure measurement is also important. But sometimes they will ask a theory question either on what pressure variation in the fluid, in the static fluid, or on Pascal's law. So we need to understand these two terms also. Correct? So now we will go for what? The Pascal's law. Yes. So again, consider a small element of wedge-shaped element of the static fluid. So this is the wedge-shaped element. Correct. Yes. And on this wedge-shaped element, the pressure acting on the different surfaces are what? So here, Px is the pressure acting. Correct. So now I'm going to give some dimensions for this one. So dimension for this one is what? This is delta x. This is delta z. And this is delta y. Correct. And let's suppose this is delta s. Correct. Any direction. Correct. So horizontal direction I have taken as x, vertical direction I have taken y. Correct. Obviously this is z, and this one we are measuring with another. We are taking another direction, that is yes, and therefore this dimension I have given as what? Delta s. Correct. So obviously px is the force acting on this surface. Again, here on this bottom surface, Py is the pressure is acting, and on this surface, so always this pressure force is acting perpendicular to the surface. So here this one is what? Ps. So this is what the pressure. But what I want, we want pressure forces. So pressure force will be what? So this pressure into area. Area will be what? Delta Y into delta Z. Correct. So Px into delta Y into delta Z. Again here, delta S into delta Z. And here, delta X into delta Z. Now one more thing, that is what? This is the center support. And here, W. W is the weight density of the fluid. So how much is the force? Sorry, weight acting on this one. That is what? Weight density into, just try to understand, half of delta X, delta Y. So that is what this triangular area I have taken. Half delta X, delta Y into this thickness. That is what? Delta Z. So this much amount of weight is acting in downward direction. Correct. So these are the forces acting on this wedge-shaped element. I have taken, or we have taken this wedge-shaped element from the static fluid. So this is the force acting along the x direction. This is the force acting along the y direction. And this is the force acting along the s direction. And here you will find weight of the static fluid. Correct. So again, we have taken this element from the static fluid. So we can use the static equilibrium conditions. So again, we will go for what? The first static equilibrium condition. That is what? Summation of f of x equals to 0. So when we go with summation of f of x equals to 0, so we need to take the forces acting along the x direction. One more thing, suppose this angle is alpha. So when this angle is alpha, so therefore obviously this force is acting at an angle alpha with respect to the vertical. Correct. This angle is required for us. So now summation of f of x equals to 0. So now we'll solve this one. So that is what? So along the x direction, there are two forces acting, this one, and for this force, the horizontal component of this force. So here I can write down, so this is Px into delta y into delta z minus, so this is acting in the, as per sign convention, we have to take this force as minus, and this force will be what? Ps delta s delta z into sine alpha. Correct. Minus Ps delta s delta z into sine alpha equals to 0. Correct. But when we see this diagram, when we observe this one, you will find what? This distance is delta s and this angle is alpha. Correct. And this distance is delta y. Correct. And this distance is delta x. So when we resolve this distance along the y direction, correct. So when we resolve this delta s along the y direction, so it becomes what? Delta s into sine alpha. Correct. So that means what? Just a minute. And this delta S sine alpha is nothing but what? Delta y. This is the vertical distance. So when I take as this one, so delta S sine alpha is sine alpha, or else you can take here, that is what? Sine alpha equals to, sine alpha equals to what becomes here? Sine alpha equals to, so delta y divided by delta
by
S.
delta S.
Yes. So that means what? Delta Y equals to what? Delta S sine alpha. Correct. So you will find here delta S sine alpha. So multiplication of delta S sine alpha is nothing but what? Delta Y. So therefore I can write down here Px into delta Y delta Z equals to Ps into, so delta S sine alpha is what? Delta Y into delta Z. So obviously what happened? So these two terms get cancelled, and finally we will get what? The Px equals to Ps. So the pressure acting along the x direction is equals to pressure acting along the s direction. Getting my point? Correct? Yes. And when we take summation of f of y equals to 0, and when we solve the same problem in the same way, you will find that is what? Py equals to Ps. So the meaning of this one is what? The pressure acting along the y direction is equals to pressure acting along the s direction. Remember that. Why we have taken this wedge shaped element? Because we want to check any direction, the pressure in any direction. Since we have taken the wedge shaped element, we have taken the pressure acting on this wedge shaped surface along the s direction other than the x, y, and z direction. And here we observe that when we see these two equations, we can say that now that is what? Px equals to Py equals to Ps. So the meaning of this one is what? Or conclusion is what? In a static fluid, pressure acting at a point in all direction is the same. And that is nothing but what? The Pascal's law. We have checked here. That is what the pressure acting along the x direction is Px. Pressure acting along the y direction Py. We have chosen the pressure acting along any direction, that is as direction we have taken here, and the pressure acting along that direction is what? Ps. Correct. So Px, Py, Ps. So all these pressure which are acting in three different directions are what? Same. The meaning of this one is what? In static fluid, pressure acting at a point in all direction is same, and that is nothing but what? Pascal's law. So according to the Pascal's law, we can say that the intensity of pressure at a point in static fluid is the same in all direction. So that is the Pascal's law. You can see here we have proved this one. That is what? The pressure acting along the x direction, pressure acting along the y direction, pressure acting along the x direction. So all these pressures which are acting in all different directions are same. So the Pascal's law, according to the Pascal's law, the intensity of pressure at a point, this wedge shaped element is very small. It is at it is looking like as what? A point. So therefore we can say that the intensity of pressure at a point in a static fluid is the same in all direction. So that is nothing but what? The Pascal's law. Is it clear to all about the Pascal's law? Yes, please.
Yes, sir, clear.
Yes. So again, I am repeating the Pascal's law. The intensity of pressure, Px, Ps, Py, the intensity of pressure at a point in a static fluid. So this is the part of the static fluid. Correct. In a static fluid is the same in all directions. So that is nothing but what? The Pascal's law. Correct. So this is all about the Pascal's law. So till now in this fluid statics, we have learned about what? The pressure variation in a static fluid. So there is no change in pressure along the x direction. There is no change in pressure along the z direction. Only change in pressure is taking place along the vertical direction, and that is nothing but what? Y direction. Correct. And why the pressure is changing only along the vertical direction or the y direction? That is due to what? The weight density. As well, we have seen what? If we want to find out pressure at a point in a static fluid, we can find out the pressure at that point, and by using the formula, that is P equals to rho gh. So obviously rho g is what? The wave density, and h is what? The pressure from the free surface of the liquid to the point at which we want to find out the pressure. Correct? So that is what the pressure variation, and as well we have seen the pressure, how the pressure is going to vary along the y direction. So obviously as we move in the downward direction from the free surface, the pressure is going to increases. Correct? So that is the pressure variation. And after that we have started with what? This Pascal's law. So according to the Pascal's law, the intensity of pressure at a point in a static fluid is the same in all directions. So that is what the Pascal's law. Okay. Yes. So we'll move towards the next point, that is what? The pressure measurement. So that is very important part. So the pressure measurement. So how the pressure is going to measure? So before going to that part, first we will try to understand how the pressure is going to measure. That is what? The which datums are used to measure the pressure. So that we will try to understand first. Okay. Yes. So I will go for the new file. Yes. So here, so pressure measurement. So for the pressure measurement, also whenever we want to measure the pressure, so remember that while measuring the pressure, uh, we have to consider the two datums, or there are two datums which are used to measure the pressure of the fluid. So two datums are used, or we can say that two references are used to measure the pressure, to measure the pressure of the fluid. So the first datum will be what? Complete vacuum, or also it is known as what? Absolute zero pressure. So this is the first datum with reference to which, that is what, either complete vacuum or absolute zero pressure, we can measure pressure of the fluid. Correct. So this is the first data, because whenever we want to measure something, we require some data, we require some reference to measure that particular quantity. Correct. So in the pressure measurement, the first datum is what? Complete vacuum or absolute zero pressure. So obviously the name itself indicates that there is a complete vacuum. Correct. If I make a complete vacuum in the container, so whatever the pressure is there in the container, so that is what? That is the first datum, and that pressure will be what? Absolute zero pressure, because in the container there is vacuum, nothing is there. So therefore, the first datum is what? Complete vacuum or absolute zero pressure. And the second datum will be what? The second datum to measure the pressure is what? Atmospheric pressure. Correct. So with reference to these two datums, we can measure the pressure. Yes. So here I will show you the diagram where you will understand. Yes. So this line indicates what? Complete zero or absolute zero or complete vacuum. So this one indicates absolute zero or absolute zero pressure or complete vacuum. And the second reference will be what? Atmospheric pressure. So how much is the atmospheric pressure? That is 1.013 bar. So this is zero and 1.013 bar. Suppose somewhere here I'm going to represent the line for the atmospheric pressure. Somewhere here I'm going to show you. Yes. So this line shows what? Atmospheric pressure. Correct. So this one shows what? Atmospheric pressure. So these are the two datums, that is absolute zero pressure and atmospheric pressure. With reference to these two datums, we can measure any pressure. If suppose one container is there and the pressure in that container is PA, and suppose the pressure PA, if I on this scale, if I want to measure, or if I want to represent this pressure PA, suppose it is somewhere here, because this is 0 and this is what? 1.01325 bar. Suppose here the PA pressure is suppose 2 bar. So obviously it becomes, it is going here, or 1.75 bar suppose. So somewhere here is a PA. So you can see here. So when we measure this pressure PA with a reference to absolute zero pressure or complete vacuum, so that pressure is known as what? Absolute pressure. So this is nothing but what? Absolute pressure. Because the pressure in this container is measured with reference to what? The absolute zero pressure. So whatever the pressure we measured with reference to absolute zero pressure, so that pressure is known as what? Absolute pressure. Remember that. Correct. And when we measure the same pressure with reference to atmospheric pressure, now we are going to measure the same pressure, that is PA, with reference to this line, that is nothing but what? Atmospheric pressure line. So this is now my reference. So whenever we measure this pressure with reference to the atmospheric pressure, so that is nothing but what? Gauge pressure, and that is what? Positive gauge pressure. Correct. Here, remember that whenever we want to measure the pressure with reference to atmospheric pressure, there are two possibilities. That is what? Either the pressure will be positive or negative. But whenever, remember that, whenever we want to measure the pressure with reference to this reference, that is absolute zero pressure or complete vacuum, the pressure will be always positive pressure. The negative pressure with reference to absolute zero pressure is not possible. The negative pressure will come only when you measure the pressure with reference to atmospheric pressure. Getting my point? Yes. Suppose another container is there, and here, if suppose the pressure inside the container is PB. Correct. So this is the big container, here PB, and on this scale, so PB is somewhere here. Correct, here somewhere PB. So when we measure this pressure with a reference to absolute zero pressure, so as I told you, so this is nothing but what? Absolute pressure. So any pressure measured with reference to absolute zero pressure or complete vacuum is known as what? Absolute pressure. Correct. Now the same pressure when we measure with reference to atmospheric pressure, so that pressure is nothing but what? Negative gauge pressure, or vacuum pressure. Correct? So positive pressure and negative pressure. So this positive and negative pressure comes only when we measure the pressure with reference to atmospheric pressure. But when we measure the pressure with reference to absolute zero pressure, the negative pressure is not possible. Always the pressure will be what? Positive. You can see here the PA is positive as well as PB is also positive when we measure with reference to absolute zero pressure. Correct? But when we measure the pressure with reference to atmospheric pressure, PA is positive and PB is negative. Correct? So you can see here, just don't get confused between this absolute pressure and absolute zero pressure. Absolute zero pressure is absolutely zero pressure. Complete vacuum is there. Correct? So that is absolute zero pressure. And the pressure which we measured with reference to absolute zero pressure is known as what? Absolute pressure. Correct? And obviously, whenever we measure the pressure with reference to the atmospheric pressure, so if it is more than atmospheric pressure, that is positive gauge pressure, and if it is less than the atmospheric pressure, so that is nothing but what? Negative gauge pressure. Correct? Here we can write down, that is what? Yes. So here P absolute equals to P so this P absolute equals to P atmospheric pressure plus P gauge pressure. Correct? So this is about what? PA. But in terms of PB, if I want to measure about the PB, so it becomes what? P absolute equals to P atmospheric minus gauge pressure. Correct? So P absolute. So this is what? This is actually P absolute. So this P absolute equals to P atmospheric minus P gauge. Correct. So this is what the P atmospheric minus this one. So you will get this P absolute. But if I want to measure this at point A, which is greater than the atmospheric pressure, so this total P absolute equals to P atmospheric plus gauge pressure. You will find this equation here. P atmospheric plus gauge pressure. Correct. So these are the datums we can use to measure the pressure. Okay. Yes. So this is our end of the third session.